Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to our weekly edition of Australian Immigration News. This program is brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services, the company I founded more than 26 years ago right here in the heart of Sydney. As of the end of April, there are 222,460 485 visa holders in Australia, highlighting the increasing competitiveness for a PR pathway within the Skilled Migration Visa Program. The E61 Institute published a study this week examining the economic effects of extending 485 post-study work right stream for international students in Australia. The focus was on student enrolment, retention, labour market outcomes, and Australia's attractiveness as a study destination. The research primarily concentrated on increasing the graduate visa duration from 18 to 24 months with the beginning of the post-study work stream of the 485 visa, also considering the recent extended 3-year period for Indian students. For students already enrolled in Australia, extended post-study work stream visas increase their likelihood of staying in Australia post-graduation, but did not enhance immediate labour market outcomes. They were also less likely to secure permanent residency within 3 years. For prospective students, extending the 485 visa made Australia more attractive, boosting international university enrolments. These students often moved into higher status occupations, but this did not always result in higher wages. The study pointed out a policy mismatch that while the number of temporary migrants on graduate visas has risen, permanent residency places have largely remained unchanged, increasing competition for permanent visas and prolonging uncertainty for migrants. However, the study did not consider a critical factor: the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. This period made it difficult for many 485 visa holders to achieve anticipated employment outcomes. Additionally, the reduction in the skilled visa invitations affected the PR pathways for 485 visa holders. The publication considered the potential benefits of an additional year on the 485 visa for certain Indian nationals studying in Australia. However, since this change was only implemented in April 2022, it raises a question about the comment's validity, as the first 3-year period has only recently concluded. The research makes this comment: if extended post-study workstream 485 visa has neither improved the economic outcomes of Indian migrants nor attracted higher quality talent, the effectiveness of this policy comes into question. And a further rather unusual comment: for Australia, the quality composition of incoming migrants has not significantly changed, suggesting that the policy has not effectively raised the skill profile of Indian graduates in the migration system. And then we have this rather controversial conclusion: if extended stay rights lead to a disproportionate increase in Indian students entering Australia's education system, it could tilt the composition of future migrant cohorts in favour of Indian nationals. Whilst such a shift may align with strategic, economic and diplomatic objectives, it also raises broader questions of equity, diversity and social cohesion within Australia's migration framework. I encourage everyone to read the entire document for a comprehensive understanding of these particular statements. I'll provide a link in the description for access. Unfortunately, the study didn't acknowledge the critical role that international students and 485 visa holders played during the COVID-19 period, undertaking jobs at a higher risk of contracting the virus, which many Australians avoided. Overall, we feel the 485 visa is meeting its policy objectives as a key lever to attract and retain skilled migrants. It provides graduates with valuable local work experience. It targets individuals who have already invested and integrated into Australia's education system. It helps retain younger skilled migrants, although what the government did to people over 35 from restricting them access to the 485 visa while studying here was quite unforgivable. And it creates a structured pathway from student status to skilled migration, where the government can choose the skills they need and find the best candidates for the PR pathways. There will be, of course, thousands of disappointed 485 visa holders who, unfortunately, won't find a pathway to permanent residency. But the reality is, no country can take all who wish to stay. It does provide the opportunity and a great experience to be here, and that's all. A story in the Financial Review highlighted the success of the Trump card $5 million visa. That's about 7.7 million in Australian dollars. Apparently, it has a waiting list of over 70,000 potential applicants. With the Labor government realising that such visas cost the community more than the asking price, they abolished the programs here. Also, such visas had serious concerns about money laundering and criminal infiltration. Keeping all of this in mind, perhaps Trump has undersold himself, and the asking price should be 20 million. According to the article in The Australian this week, most of Australia's top 10 ranking universities fell in their international rankings, except for Monash University, which went up a little, and the University of Western Australia, which remained stable. The top 5 universities in the world are dominated by the 3 American juggernauts, with MIT at the top, followed by Stanford and Harvard. Of course, after a full year of the Trump onslaught on higher education, the makeup of this group may change dramatically in next year's results, so let's wait and see what happens. When the Administrative Review Tribunal, the ART, took over from the ART last year, everyone expected that review processing times would start shrinking. This was because the Labor government pledged to increase funding. According to the ART's latest figures up to the end of May, the numbers do not look promising and are worse than those of its predecessor. Student visa refusal reviews have a disproportionately high number at 36,536 applications on hand. This is directly related to the government policy of rejecting as many applicants as possible rather than the genuine student requirement. The median processing time is over a year, but most applications will probably take double that amount of time to be finalised. Partner and family visas have a significantly smaller caseload at 5,208, but incredibly, they have a median processing time of 142 weeks. This means that many applications will take much longer, with some waiting over 4 years, and that is simply appalling. The highest number of applications awaiting a visa review is protection visas, with more than 42,000 pending and a median waiting time of just over 4 years. Of course, most of these review applicants will be on bridging visas in Australia while they wait. This has contributed to the unusually high 300,000 plus people waiting for an application decision or a review of a refused application. While this article in The Australian this week highlighted that the US will require student visa applicants to make their social media accounts public, I need to remind people applying for visas to Australia that the department regularly reviews social media presences of applicants. Partner visas in particular receive a lot of social media scrutiny to ensure that applicants are seen holding hands with their partner they are sponsoring for the visa. Well, you may not have to be holding hands, but if your partner is nowhere to be seen and perhaps another face pops up more often, questions will be asked. You have been warned. In response to last week's video about being careful when typing up the DOA application form, Mansour writes in and states, "Hi, for state nominated 491 and 190, the state also confirms the claim points while approving the nomination. Isn't it a confirmation and validation of the points claimed in the EOI and in the subsequent visa application? I think that the state nomination approval is almost a 100% guarantee that DOA will not refuse the visa. Am I correct? Kindly answer. You're a beacon of light for all prospective applicants. Thank you." Thank you so much for the positive feedback, Mansour. It's much appreciated. Last week's video is all about being careful in your responses in the information you provide in the actual immigration form, for it gives you no feedback that your answers will give you a score that matches the points you claim in your EOI. Yes, the sponsoring states indeed check your score when you apply for the nomination, but that does not mean that when people type up the immigration form, they do not make errors. Regarding the sponsored visas, many people still fail in their 190 and 491 applications due to errors on the application form or when DOA checks carefully and they are found to be ineligible for the points they claimed. Next week, we will discuss what can happen if you are refused a 491 or 190 visa and you are not in Australia, and the specific problem this raises regarding review rights. Well, that's all for another week in the world of Australian immigration. Next week, we will discuss what we can expect to happen in the new financial year here, beginning on the 1st of July. Remember, if you need help, we are always here to lend a hand. You can book a consultation anytime by visiting our website, but if you're in a hurry for an urgent appointment, you can just pick up the phone. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.